They love sexual perversion games with beautiful, but not always adult, girls. How do North Korean dictators have fun with their sex slaves? Why do North Korean women voluntarily join the ranks of the so-called pleasure squad? What are the shameful procedures they undergo? We will tell you about lewd parties in the world's most closed country. When Mi Hyang first saw North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un up close, not on TV as usual, he seemed to be an ordinary man, like her neighbor in the stairwell. Mi Hyang looked at the leader's face. It was streaked with age spots, and his teeth were yellowish. Is this the son of the nation and great general of North Korea? Mi Hyang thought to herself. Mi Hyang was 15 years old when two military officers came to her school. The officers examined all the female students. Afterwards, they asked some of the girls, including Mi Hyang, to step out of the line. The military officers began to ask the girls about their parents, siblings, studies, and grades. Mi Hyang remembered that one question made her feel very uncomfortable. One of the officers asked a teenage girl if she had ever had sexual intercourse with a boy. Virginity was one of the main criteria for selection to the so-called squad, or pleasure group. Another important criterion was height. For Kim Jong-il, relatively short North Korean women were chosen to match the leader, no taller than 165 cm, with perfect skin, no spots or scars, and a pleasant, soft, feminine voice. But the girls who passed the visual and medical competition were not immediately sent to the dictator's bed. They were to have a 20-month preparatory course. Virgins were taught subtleties of sex crafts and foreign languages, English, Japanese, and Chinese. If a girl could dance, for example, she would have auditions with her legs pulled up. Kipimko, which means pleasure group in Korean, has existed in North Korea since 1978. Kim Il-sung, the country's first dictator and founder, initiated the creation of this specific unit. At the height of his power, the tyrant ordered his subordinates to scour the country and find the most beautiful young virgin girls. The North Korean leader was convinced that during sex, he was energized by the virgins. But the girls provided more than just sexual favors. When the great leader craved music and dancing, they sang and danced. And if Kim wanted to relax, the beauties massaged his back, chest, legs, arms, and other parts of his body. Kim Il-sung's nephew, Lee Il-nam, in his memoirs mentions the orgies organized by the first dictator. The parties at Kim's home in Pyongyang began in the evening in a very civilized manner. The leader would eat, drink, and look at the dancing girls. Then, when many were half drunk, it was game time. In the dictator's favorite game, all losers, women and men, were stripped naked. The losers of another erotic game had to shave off their hair. Mi Hyang served in Kim Jong-il's pleasure squad for 2 years. She was one of 30 applicants selected for the special service. Before meeting the dictator in person, Mi Hyang underwent a medical examination. Then she signed an oath. It was a kind of oath of allegiance to the North Korean leader. Also, from that moment, the girl was forbidden to see her family. The authorities informed the girl's parents that their daughter was honored to serve Kim Jong-il, but the parents understood why their daughter was going to Pyongyang. Deep in their hearts, they even rejoiced. Now their child would eat 3 meals a day, live in a luxurious mansion, and thus become happy. Mi Hyang accompanied the dictator during his trips around North Korea. The girl especially remembered the trip to the mountain Baektusan, which is sacred to Koreans. It is there on the border with China a villa bunker is located. This underground lair even had a 50-meter swimming pool. According to the concubine, Kim Jong-il often dined on pheasants that he personally shot while hunting. One day, he offered Mi Hyang a taste of his favorite dish. The girl refused. Kim grinned and said that it was a very healthy dish with a secret ingredient. If you eat it regularly, it will increase your stamina. The secret ingredient was shark genitalia. Mi Hyang almost threw up at that time. After drinking a couple shots of cognac, Kim pointed his finger at the concubine and asked, "Are you Mi okay or Mi Hyang?" Which translated from Korean means, Are you a girl with skin as beautiful as jade or a girl with a beautiful fragrance? Mi Hyang assures that she never had sex with the dictator. He only touched her. But the girl is sure it would certainly happen if she hadn't escaped from North Korea. Cherry Yang, 16, who was selected for the pleasure group, also escaped. She remembers signing a document to move to Pyongyang, and then an officer told her she had to take care of herself, not to fight with anyone, so there would be no bruises or scratches on her face or body. After a thorough medical examination, Cherry Yang was deemed fit to please the son of the nation, Kim Jong-il. There was a month left before her departure. At this time, she was offered to work as a waitress at the mayor's villa near her hometown. The girl agreed. Crossing the threshold of the luxurious mansion, Cherry Yang opened her mouth in surprise. The house was furnished with imported furniture and appliances. The refrigerators in the kitchen were bursting with expensive delicacies. Cherry Yang served meals on the table. When the mayor and his guests ate breakfast, dinner, or lunch, the work was not difficult. But Young says she felt trapped. She had her own room, full meals. But it was forbidden to go outside the villa to communicate with parents and friends. The girl decided to escape. She got home, but she could not stay with her family. The military was looking for her. Her father helped his daughter cross the frozen river and get to China. The Pleasure Squad is mentioned in the book of memoirs, Kim Jong-il's Chef. Its author, a Japanese named Kenji Fujimoto, worked as the leader's personal sushi chef for 13 years. Fujimoto says that Kim paid him about $50,000 a year and provided him with 2 official Mercedes cars. The personal chef sometimes served parties with the girls. He saw them singing, dancing, and grooming the dictator. At one such party, Kim told the dancers to strip, recalls Kenji Fujimoto. The cook and guards were ordered to join the girls but not to touch them. Later, Fujimoto even married a beauty from the pleasure group. Kim himself was also present at the wedding feast. Such marriages were encouraged by the dictator. By the age of 23 to 25, girls from the harem were considered waste material, and they retired. But they could not return home. They simply could not be released. Former concubines could tell something to their relatives. To keep all secrets, the dictator married his mistresses to influential generals from his entourage. Meanwhile, newcomers were being sought to replace the retired ones. Among those who sought out attractive Korean women for the harem was Kim Jong-il's close friend and relative, Jang Song-taek. It was he who was executed in December 2013. Authorities accused him of attempting a coup against the government. Charges of corruption, counter-revolutionary activities, drug use, and lewd behavior were also brought against him. On the execution day, North Korea's state news agency reported on all of Jang Song-taek's sins, specifying that the man sentenced to death was worse than a dog. The lewd behavior meant frequent orgies with girls from the pleasure group. In 2011, after the death of Kim Jong-il, the pleasure squad ceased to exist. Kim Jong-un, the son of the deceased leader and the new head of state, decided to do so. The people of North Korea then thought that Yoon was wiser and more fair than previous dictators, that he knew more about human rights because he studied in Switzerland for a long time. But it wasn't human rights that Kim Jong-un cared about. He did purges within the party, and he didn't trust those who worked with his father. He did everything he could to make his name less associated with his father, who starved hundreds of thousands of North Koreans to death. Soon Kim Jong-un brought back the old tradition of his ancestors and resumed the recruitment of girls for the pleasure group. The principle of selecting girls has not changed. The dictator prefers beautiful Korean virgins. They should be tall, but not taller than him, and have a chiseled figure. Every year, the North Korean state budget allocates about $3 million for the purchase of erotic lingerie and other outfits for concubines. At the same time, Kim Jong-un was personally involved in the selection of girls for the Moranbong music group. According to official data, about 20 girls, singers and musicians playing violin, piano, cello, guitar, and drums, were recruited for the pop group. All the vocalists had short haircuts, slender legs. the same height and cute faces. For the members of Moranbong too, revealing concert dresses were sewn. In such outfits, the girls were singing patriotic songs in front of their compatriots and in front of rare foreign delegations. Yoon's favorite was singer Hyun Song-woo. Kim Jong-un was rumored to have had an affair with her long before the group was formed. When Kim became the leader of North Korea, Hyun Song-woo's career skyrocketed. In 2017, she joined the Central Committee of the Labor Party. The last rumors about Kim Jong-un's amusement with virgins date back to the first half of 2020, when the coronavirus pandemic began. At that time, it was as if the brilliant comrade fell through the ground. He was not shown on TV. North Koreans began to seriously fear for their leader's health. What if he caught a coronavirus? What if everything is bad and he is on a ventilator? Meanwhile, Japanese and American media wrote about Kim Jong-un's possible death. It turned out that Kim did not die, but went on quarantine in his armored train. And in order not to be bored, he brought with him sex slaves from the Pleasure Squad. It is known that the train stopped in the resort town of Wonsan, on the shores of the Sea of Japan. Kim Jong-un's summer residence is located there. The girls followed the dictator everywhere. Details of the quarantine are a mystery for now. But apparently the North Korean leader enjoyed more than just dances and marvelous voices of his concubine Zeng.